Okay, we are on air now, and on this, and here with us is Mohd Sahnazwal. I'm sorry, Mohd
Shahnawaz.
Shahnawaz. Yes, President of Government Blockchain Association in United Arab Emirates, and his topic is about building world's first blockchain city. Word is yours. Go ahead.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I am Mohammed Shahnawaz, President of Government Blockchain Association, or GBA UAE as it's called. GBA is basically a technology agnostic global association whose mission is to promote and accelerate blockchain adoption in government sector via education, advocacy, and partnerships. We have around 50 chapters around the world and headquartered in Virginia, USA. GBA UAE was started recently around February, and where we had many thought leaders and blockchain professionals come to our webinars and discuss different blockchain projects. This week we have one blockchain prominent personality coming. He is also known as the father of blockchain. More in the end of this, towards the end of the talk. We so one disclaimer is that the Government Blockchain Association is not affiliated with any government entity or private entity. We don't endorse any projects which I'm going to mention, and it should be only used for educational purpose and not constitute as legal, financial, or investment advice. So, Dubai. Today's discussion is Dubai. Dubai is a city located in United Arab Emirates. In 1960s, it was really a small trading city in Middle East, selling pearls, dates, and now it's one of the most visited city in the world. In the world, since the discovery of oil, the government of Dubai has diversified in different sectors, and one of the sector they are betting on is emerging technology. That's in AI, blockchain, and IoT. So, so they have many government departments who have been the mandate to implement the industries of these emerging industries in Dubai. As you see, this is the building of Museum of Future, where they host and showcase different emerging technology. This building was completely made by algorithm, and it's a very complex building, and much more complex than even the tallest building in the world. So today we're going to talk about one of the government arm who's been a forefront in implementing different technology. That is Smart Dubai. Smart Dubai main initiative is to make Dubai the smartest city in the world. Smart Dubai has two main initiatives. They have many initiatives, but two main initiative are, one of them is paperless initiative. A paperless initiative is where in April 2017, the Crown Prince of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed, he basically instructed the government to make the government paperless. That is by 31st December 2020, the last paper should be used. That means by 2021 we have to be using. I mean, we have to use completely digital transform. We don't have to use any paper. So this is one of the papers initiative. The second initiative, before I go to second initiative, we talk about blockchain. So blockchain, those who don't know what the blockchain is basically a decentralized database with three main properties. It's immutable. Uh, it is also is also transparent, where the stakeholders can see the data, and also it's traceable. You can track the provenance in the blockchain. So all this enables trust. So you're moving the trust from a person or a central authority to a system. So, so what are the applications we could use blockchain for? So back in 2016, one of the things of blockchain, one of the initiatives by Smart Dubai was blockchain strategy. So blockchain strategy had three main pillars. One is government efficiency, where they want to completely transform and become paperless, so there's less friction in between different users of the government services. The second thing is industry creation. The government basically encourages the creation of different sectors in UAE, that is and enabling blockchain in banking, healthcare, transportation, urban planning sector. So, and the third is since Dubai is leading a role in implementing the blockchain tech, they want to share the best use cases of blockchain tech around the world. So they have a different initiative, like they have Future Blockchain Summit, which is one of the largest blockchain summit, where they have different exhibitors, thought leaders coming in and exchanging the best use case. And also they have Global Blockchain Council, which is around 42 different entities around the world. They share the best use case of the blockchain. So the mandate is that by 2021, minimum of 50% of the government service entities must use blockchain. So now, since we are a bit short of time, so I won't tell. There's so many blockchain projects, more than 20, 24, more than 30 projects, ongoing projects. I'm going to tell only five prominent project if you have time. So the first project I'm going to talk about is Lost Passport project. It was made by the company Avanza, and basically four entities of the government: the Dubai Police, courts, public prosecution, and GDRFA. GDRFA is basically the government entity which takes implements basically the authority that issue visas. So since you know that 75 or around 70 to 80% of residents in UAE are expatriates, so the main document of identity is passport. So at this moment of time, if you somebody loses passport, what happens is that they go to Dubai police and file a report of missing passport. So Dubai police gives a paper and asks them to go to court, which they have to stand in court in public prosecution. They have to go to GDRFA and go back to Dubai police, so they can get a lost certificate. And then they go back to embassy, and embassy basically issues new passport. They go back to GRFA. So this is like multi-step process. So the reason it's multi-step is that the government at the moment don't have any means to communicate with each other securely. So blockchain was recently implemented, and so the person all have to do, person has to go to the Dubai police and basically file a report of lost passport. Then all they have, then they have to go to, then they'll get right away, they'll get the lost certificate, and they go to embassy, and then they go to GDRFA to get new visa. So it moved, the process was reduced from a week to one day. So this is one of the mandates. One of the, it really fits in with one of the blockchain strategy government is trying to implement. The second project, which is one of the highlight, is donor health tech. Let me give you a background. Uh, in 1991, World Health Organization basically forbade organ sales. That means you cannot buy and sell organ. So which basically resulted in rise of demand of organs, because they're not organs readily available. There is a huge demand and less supply. According to our American Transplant Foundation, in states alone, every 10 minutes, one new person is added on the wait list, waiting for the transplant. And as a result, 20 people die every day in USA waiting for a transplant. So if you just in USA, a lot of people die around the world just to wait for the organ transplant. And this the lack of organs has resulted in black markets, and governments around the world are trying to find ways to basically decrease the waitlist time, at the same time tackle the organ trafficking. So one of the ways they do is that they have a registry where people who wants to pledge to donate the organs, if something happens to them or the loved one, they could pledge there. And if anything happens to them, so the hospital can basically broadcast to other hospitals that there's this organ like kidney or heart available. So what is this donor blockchain does is basically matches the DNA of recipient who's waiting for the organ transplant to the donor. So it saves a lot of time and effort. This project was actually started by a 14-year-old kid. His name was Ryan Mahabi. He was watching a Disney channel, and he saw one guy who was wearing a T-shirt asking for the organ. So he researched. He was moved by it. He researched and he took action. He studied the problem the world is facing, and there was a hackathon organized by Ministry of Health in Dubai, and he presented. The minister was really moved, and he basically asked him, "Do you have any adult who's going to implement this project?" And that's how his father came in, and they started this project. They funded it, and it's now at the moment it's out of proof of concept and implementing it. So as a result, World Economic Forum, they basically selected donor as one of the blockchain projects to look out for. The third project I want to talk about is Verifax. Verifax basically does three things. It's a medicine delivery app which verifies the authenticity of medicines. And second thing it does is that it checks whether the medicine has been damaged or tampered. The third main thing is since UAE has very strict laws of controlled medicine are basically those medicines which if you take it, you have risk of getting addicted. So government regulates it. So the government has to ensure the right patient is receiving the prescribed medicine. So Verifax basically first authenticates it, the prescribed medicine. Then they have a special box, which is temperature control, and only the person can take the medicine. You have to know that many people cannot go to its pharmacy and pick up the medicine. So when the pharmacy delivers this medicine, they use the biometric like finger thumb or eye scan to get the medicine. This is now on the proof of concept, and it's going to be implemented soon because governments are basically asking to prevent the opioid abuse. So our fourth project is Trade Connect project. It is basically a project started by Etisalat and 8 other banks. Etisalat is basically a telecom company, leading telecom company in the region. And their main aim is to digitize trade finance and processes and combat fraud. So what it does in one good thing about this is that it combats fraud in invoice discounting. If those people who don't know what is invoice discounting is, for example, if you're getting paid in 30 or 60 days, you go to bank and say that, please, can you give me the cash so it can so you can get the cash flow and you can get the money and bank and basically your customer pays the bank and banks basically take small cut. So what is happening right now is people are using the same invoice and going different banks and taking out money. So, and after taking out the money, they leave the country. The problem is so prevalent that a lot of banks lost money and they moved out of the SME sector because the fraud is costing them a lot of money. So they hired this company Avanza and they partnered with Etisalat, and they were implementing this. They already passed the proof of concept and they're going to launch in the mainnet. So what it does is that it's a system of AI, blockchain, and bots. Let me just show you where you upload the invoice, and what the AI does is that it checks for the invoice. So, because people don't put the same amount, it checks the logo, it checks the signature, and matches if the same invoice was issued to other banks. So it checks for duplicate invoicing and over invoicing. Over invoicing means if the same steel product is like $2, if the person mentions $10 in the other invoice, so it's a red flag. And also finds out whether the buyer and the seller are real. So it checks the website, it checks the what do you call their tax number, and the social media, how long they have been there in the business, and then gives it an overall score, and also gives a score of different categories. So, this uses blockchain to securely share the data between different banks without really revealing a lot of information of their customer. The main future aim is to of this bank is basically to use this project for cross-border checking, which could immensely reduce the the cost of doing business and giving out loans, which is the case right now. Our fifth project right now is UAE Vault. UAE Vault is basically a repository which stores the passport copies, national ID, and different identity credentials of a user, and where the organization, like different organizations, can seamlessly share with each other. So you don't have to repeatedly take your documents to, say, for example, is for getting a SIM card, then and opening a bank account. Now all you have to do is the service provider basically asks you uh, whether it's okay to provide your documents to a third party, and once you say okay, which all the documents are basically stored in a file. Hash of the file is stored in the blockchain, and it's stored in IPFS. So securely stored. So if a service provider asks for identity, you can basically do two things. You can say which documents to show. At the same time, you could also tell until when to show and revoke the access. So this digital transformation has already been implemented federally all over the UAE, and this is enabling to save a lot of time and effort and energy. Also, it seamlessly gets along with the paperless initiative with Smart Dubai. So now it's the situation is such that you don't have to carry a passport to go through immigration. You could just use a finger print and move in and out of the airport. So, what is the advantage of the UAE Vault? So UAE Vault, the user's perspective is that as you know, there is COVID-19. Like you can save your time and energy in traveling all the way to to the government, and also you don't have to use paper. So another thing from the issues, but those organization which issues those identity, they don't have to give uh, physical ID. They can provide a digital ID. So this has resulted in all of has a result of all the projects. They're estimating that they're going to save up to $3 billion in the paperless strategy. So just to give an idea, the tallest building in the world, Burj Khalifa, cost like $1.5 billion. So the saving is up to two buildings. Um, so also it helps to reduce greenhouse gases, and the good thing is that by 2020, as a result, 14 Dubai entities basically cut their paper consumption by 64%. So we are on track to meet the objective. And Dubai was recently awarded the first Smart City on Blockchain Award in person in Expo. So I have a couple of minutes left. So I want to so these are the many projects here, from say logistics to banking to finance. There are many projects. They're being implemented, exciting projects, which you can find in our website. So we have the founding father, Scott Shoneda, coming in. The Satoshi white paper has 8 references. 3 of the references were used by Scott Shoneda. So he's coming on 30th May. If you're interested, just type, just follow the link. And we look forward to seeing you. And if you have any questions, please let me know. How many
Can,
minutes do you have?
yes, we can ask you just one question because we have only 1 minute left.
Okay. So who will ask a question?
Actually, we have the viewers. Yeah, there is no question from that side because here
Okay.
are waiting or the next speaker. Thanks a lot. Just please unshare your screen. Just show up your face, and you are going out of the YouTube channel at this moment. Yes, thanks a lot.